Premier Interschool Series of 2018 has taken us from pillar to post of South African schoolboy rugby, and what a journey it has been. We have the privilege of being here for the penultimate match in that series as Boland Landbou host Oakdale here in the Agterparel region of the Western Cape. No problem with supporters here today. This is a derby of note, perhaps the biggest farm derby in South Africa. The weather is playing the game as well. The sun is shining as hard as it possibly can. The fact that the weather remains below the 20 degrees mark is due to the chilly conditions resulting from the snow in the surrounding mountain regions. Here is the head-to-head between these two schools. This encounter dates all the way back to 1987. Boland really dominated early on, but since 2010 it has been a much more even battle. As since 2010, Boland have won just 3 and Oakdale have won 5. They are looking to set that record right. And this afternoon they have yet another opportunity to do just that, as they have a much vaunted side. This is a tale of two contrasting teams this year. Boland have struggled through, winning 9 and losing 8 games, while Oakdale have lost just 2 games this year. And those 2 games were against very impressive opposition, those being Paul Roos and Paul Jim. Right now, we are looking at the starting 15 for Oakdale. To watch out for, first of all, Magnus Miller has a late withdrawal from the number 1 jersey. Hannes Goos, their captain, is a heavyweight ball carrier and quality rugby player. Just one of their 14 Craven Week representatives. Watch out for Henko Bierkus in the number 7 jersey, and Clyde Lewis is a free-running fullback in the 15. This is the Boland team, and the Craven Week representatives are the number 12, Erik Lamprecht and Thijs Kitsoff. However, their number 15 and hero to their school, Darren Hendricks, is currently tied up with the South African school's outfit and will not be turning out in this inter-schools derby today. Must be a bittersweet feeling for the youngster. The pomp and the ceremony continues. Approaching the field right now on your screens, and we can see them in the distance on the horizon. Some aerobatics will be entertaining us shortly. For now, here comes Oakdale onto the Boland Landbou A field. Led out by their captain Hannes Goos, and Skalk Bezuidenhout is leading Boland onto the field as well. There are the Boland gentlemen gathering together. Alongside me in the commentary booth today is an individual who played flyer for Marties in Western Province. So tons of talent. It's none other than Gareth Wright. Gareth, this is going to be a humdinger.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. It should be an absolute cracker. There's a slight wind at the back of Boland's backs. They'll want to make judicious use of the boot as we see their recent form. Well, they went down to Paul Roos by 30 points to 15. It was a dogged effort in defense by the Bolanders, as we see experienced Pro 14 referee Quinton Immelman, who will be officiating this afternoon. As for Oakdale, well, their pack of forwards are going to be razor sharp as they've been all season. They've had a stellar season, and we were talking to their headmaster earlier on, Andre Latsky. He was a little bit concerned as it's been a long 8 years since the away side has won this fixture on the opposition's turf. So I think we're in for a crackerjack, and it'll be as tight as anything, and whoever has the ascendancy up front, I feel, may come out on top.
Each of these two schools have produced 4 Springbok players. Such proud schools, such an involved inter-schools throughout the week, building up with events like the Groot Brag, Mr. and Mrs. Boland, and all sorts of celebrations. What an occasion for these youngsters. We are ready to get underway. Clyde Lewis for Oakdale with a flat kickoff to Boland. You're running straight back at them with Sebastian de Klerk. Well fielded. And under the bright sunshine of the Western Cape, we are enjoying schoolboy rugby. This season is coming to an end, the penultimate fixture of the Premier Interschool seasons. Do enjoy. Frenna du Toit in the number 10 jersey, employing Erik Lamprecht, who's running straight back at Oakdale. Hands by Boland, keeping it moving. De Klerk on the outside, working it back to Yabia Snyman. Snyman driven back in the tackle eventually. Aggressive defense from Oakdale, over the ball but losing their feet. A penalty goes the way of the home side.
Great start by Landbou. The intent was clear, keeping ball in hand, and Henko Bierkus flopped off his feet at the wrong stage, and it'll give the diminutive Gavin Mills an opportunity now to open Landbou's account. He must be about 50 meters on the angle. He's had a stellar season as Mills with the boot. He was unlucky not to represent Western Province in one of the teams, as we see Henko Bierkes, after some good defensive work from his flanker mate in Brewer, just flopping off his feet. Now Mills, he's been a real standout for the Bolanders this year. His boot has kept them in good stead. Now it's just whether he'll have the distance. He'll need to swing this in from right to left, will young Gavin Mills. It's a solid strike, just short.
Dropping under the post and collected by Oakdale. Running straight back at Boland here. From deep within their own 22-meter line, on the try line as a matter of fact. With the chance to clear, that's Derek Uester. The hanging kick downfield, hugging the touchline. What a piece of work from Gavin Mills to keep the ball alive. And can they continue? Yes, Boland. Knocking the man off, takes Kitch off, and they set her up just within the Oakdale half. A number of options, charging onto the ball. It's deceived one and all, and Gavin Mills will not be happy. The scrum off for Boland. They've travelled slightly backwards, but somehow they've retained possession. Frana de Toy keeps it moving. Lamprecht spreads it wide, and on the outside now is Reichert. Reichert into the 22-meter line of Oakdale. Digging into clear now, and de Toy. Quentin Immelman is called to stop the proceedings.
Frana de Toy, 94 kilograms of the man, ran into Quentin Immelman. And hence the scrum will go the way of Boland. That was a wonderful pass from Eric Lamprecht. A flat wide ball to Dean Reichert in the wider channels. They've certainly shown their hand early on, have Landbou. Willingness to keep ball in hand. Now, this is one area where Oakdale have been dominant across South Africa as at scrum time. And they have an advantage at the pack weights.
That advantage is really making itself felt, driving through, putting pressure on Boland, winning back possession. They'll need to do plenty more of that throughout this match, Oakdale, if they are to win away from home here op die plaas, or on the farm rather in English.
Big Peter Maritz, he's 108 kilograms. You saw the power coming in on the tight head side. And not the greatest of starts for Henko Smuts, the grade 11 student from Landbouskool Boland.
Crouch, bind, set.
This time Oakdale have to hold their own, sliding backwards, but they do manage to retain. Straight on, spreads it wide, and Lewis is entrusted with finding space on the Boland field. Pressure now on, as there's an outstanding kick chase from Oakdale. Heavily isolated is Dean Reichert. Oakdale not able to drive over that ball and retain possession, cleared by Kitchoff. Boland certainly losing all of their territorial advantage in the blink of an eye, and now it is launched downfield by Frana de Toy. And Clyde Lewis, he wants to run it right back at Boland here. A long chip upfield that should be well fielded. Should it remain in field, and in field it does remain. The bounce is kind.
Well, not a bad tactic by Lewis as he found space in behind the Landbou back three. Gavin Mills doing the mopping up work as they'll need to restart with a 22-meter drop in, and it will undoubtedly go deep yet again. But there's a real concern for me at the moment, and it's a set piece time for Boland Landbou, coupled with the fact is that their kick chase has been very laboured in the opening 5 minutes.
Will this kick be crossing the 22-meter line? It will, perfectly measured. Javier Snyman claims it for Boland. Dangerous perhaps, but it does come off, and that chip over the top is well fielded, and the ball is turned over in a truly dangerous area. Uester, it's off the straight on. Keeping the ball moving was Hendricks, and it's still alive for Oakdale. Boland's attacking that ball on the ground. Straight on spreads it again. Lewis joining the line.
No advantage for Oakdale as offside play from Boland Landbou, and a penalty has gone the way of those in white from Riversdale in a very kickable position. Now it's whether they opt for the 3 or do they pursue with the option of trying to get the early ascendancy at line-out time? They've got a monster pack and they've decided to try put it out as close to the 5-meter line as they could have. Well, he hasn't done the business, has the flow of JD Stratham. He's just put it into touch.
Quickly in by Hendricks. Oakdale trying to set the ball. Boland wise to that. They've driven them back before they could even get set, and Oakdale are searching for answers now. Trying to instigate some momentum, but it will not come, and Jooste forced to give it off to straight on. Clyde Lewis joining the line, but he's misjudged that. Boland capitalizing, and they have a chance to counter. Cutting straight through. Sebastian de Klerk. He's going all the way. What a start from Boland.
Turning defense into attack is Sebastian de Klerk, and the Western Province Academy Week Centre has picked up a loose pass, stretched his legs, and he sent this home crowd into raptures. The slip came in from Lewis, the pickup from de Klerk was sublime, and then look at the pace shown, sprinting away from the cross-cover defenders, just the tonic the home side would have required. And the early ascendancy has swung away of those in black.
Tearing away from Trevino Gordon as well. Some really quick players. Frightening pace from Sebastian de Klerk. And Gavin Mills has the chance to add an extra 2 and put Boland, the home side, into a healthy lead. That one is no good, drifting away from the right-hand post. And the lead remains 5-0 in favour of Boland.
Well, it started from a poor kick from JD Stratham. He needed to get that on the 5-meter line to boot, and then a woeful pass didn't go to hand, picked up by de Klerk. He bobbed and weaved and then cracked on the pace and had enough speed to get away from everyone. Good running from the outside centre.
Clyde Lewis sends it quite flat again well fielded by Boland. Schalk Bezuidenhout, the captain in particular on this occasion. Clyde Lewis tracking back to field this kick. Very good idea as a result.
Stop.
Has to rearrange himself, turn around and look to find a touch. The kick has gone well beyond the halfway line, so good distance, but not going quite into touch, and Boland counter-attack again. Gavin Mills this time. Spreading the ball is Bertus Baard for Boland, the number 11. Stepping into the half-back role. And once again, he takes those responsibilities. Spread over the top by du Toit. And de Klerk, the recent try scorer, involved again. Richa takes it to ground. Getting all over in the scrum of position now is Bertus Baard. He's played it 3 consecutive runs all across the field. Back in there now is Gavin Mills. Struggling to find holes in his Oakdale defence though, as the pace of the Boland attack is slightly pedestrian. That was not pedestrian from Eric Lamprecht, trying to increase the intensity. Mills off to the forwards, and that's Schalk Bezuidenhout carrying it up for Boland. Mills again. Bertus Baard away from the halfback and now into first receiver. Not creating a great deal of deception for these Oakdale players, but do they need to when they keep busting through like that? Lamprecht off the RJ van der Merwe.
Got it.
Digging in to get that, Gavin Mills, very difficult. An advantage is being played. No, it is not. It has been turned over, and Oakdale clear their lines beyond the halfway, but nothing much more. And Richard has the chance to counter-attack. This time it's off to Bertus Baard. He's wrapped up. But no Oakdale players in position to attack that turnover ball. Wonderful hands off to Louis Dirk Heeman. That was from Javier Snyman. Could not keep the ball in play, but Boland are growing into this match.
Well, they're moving this heavier Oakdale side around. They're spinning it from east to west. And unfortunately for the home side's lock-in, Louis Hamann, he's just been bundled over the whitewash on the sideline. It's some wonderful interpassing between backs and forwards alike as Oakdale decide to go again.
Really like to get the ball into the line out as quickly as possible, thanks to Keanu Hendricks. And look at the power of this rolling maul. How much could they have done with this when they tried it just 5 meters away from the Boland try line? It does eventually come to a halt. And immediately they set off running. Clyde Lewis on the outside, joining the line again. Big gap for him to cut through, and cut through he does. Clyde Lewis, he is lightning when he gets the chance, and he's proving just that. Electrifying run from Lewis, gives it away, and it is funded at the very last moment. Heartbreak for all concerned with Oakdale.
Well, a gilt-edged chance has gone a begging. Clyde Lewis, what a run from him. He weaved through some porous Boland defence, and then Tata criminally took his eye off the ball. Poetry in motion from the young fullback. And he popped it up to his wingmate, Tata, who had a look up with the line at his beckoning. And it is undoubtedly 5 points that have gone a begging for the visitors.
Oh, so elusive, Clyde Lewis is.
5, 6.
Scored an absolute screamer of a try in Oakdale's other derby against Otaniqua. Boland running it out from their own line. Sebastian de Klerk, scorer of the only points in this match thus far. We have a replacement on the field, Richard, for Boland, heading to the stands while Jason Roux comes on. We'll have to find out exactly what that is for. Clyde Lewis feeling that on the touchline. Apparently in touch as he received it.
Taking it over.
That's an efficient kick from Gavin Mills. He's got a siege gun boot as the man in the number 9 jersey, Mills, and he's managed to win the ball back for his side as Lewis stuck his foot out at the critical moment. As the young Bolanders break out into song, trying to inspire their side.
Feeds the line out, goes long. The throw looked to be almost perfect. However, it was overjudged, went over the back. Oakdale claimed possession on the halfway line. Now they get the chance to construct some of their own attack. Derek Jooster in the 9 jersey will be at the heart of that. Boland have been controlling possession and territory in this match thus far, and they might have themselves another turnover. Now thwarted at the last second was Javier Snyman. Chopping tackle in the midfield. Boland attacking each and every breakdown and almost securing a turnover each time. Derek Jooster spreads it beyond the first receiver this time, and Hannes Gous was throwing himself into the midfield. Elusive running from what must be a frustrated Joaquin Salta after dropping that ball following the electrifying run from Clyde Lewis. Turnover ball for Boland on the touchline, tripped over the top from Gavin Mills, and that has gone horribly wrong.
Turnover ball, you need to make use of it. It means that you have a free attack essentially. Mills decided to try find some kick space in behind Oakdale. Unfortunately, he went out on the full. But Boland have been tigerish on defence at chopping legs. As you see Mills' kick going wayward into touch. And they're competing fervorously at the breakdown.
There was a real contest at the line-out as well, and this time it is won by Boland. Plenty of work for Javier Snyman, number 8 for the boys in black early on. And how sharp has Franny du Toit looked, but that pass has evaded all of the potential receivers, and replacement Jason Roux does well.
First infringement, forward pass, then a knock on, a double.
However, the call from Quinton Immelman is that there was a forward pass in amongst that, and we will have a scrum down to Boland in their own half.
Well, speaking to some of the locals early on, they're telling me Franny du Toit came into the pre-season having built his body up to 104 kilograms. And another first receiver in the fly position. That is a fair amount of beef. If you slim down, you'll be grateful to 94, which is still a sizable piece of meat at schoolboy level in the number 10 position.
Bind. Set. Steady.
He's got plenty of skills to complement that weight as well.
Hinging.
Penalty has now gone the way of Oakdale for hinging. Now, what did Oakdale decide? They have used the sanity amongst their backline players, told the forwards, you've had your first opportunity to maul it from close quarters. We're now going to take the 3 that are potentially on offer. It's on the loose heads loose-head side, right in front of the referee, where RJ van der Merwe has just hinged down on the replacement Stefan van der Berg. And now it has given the fly-off of Oakdale, JD Stratham, an opportunity to pull 3 points back. Oh, look at the claret all over that jersey. It just shows you the passion and physicality of these games. That'll be the least of his worries, will it, for Stratham.
Not a clean strike, drifting away from the posts. No joy for JD Stratham on this occasion. Things are not really falling into place for Oakdale whatsoever right now, Gareth. They came in the side vaunted to win this match.
And it's heavy underfoot, so this pack of Oakdales, which is sizable to say the least, are really not getting into the game.
Brandon Toy launches that 22-meter dropout long after the short one previously just worked out for Boland. On this occasion, safety is the call. Clyde Lewis trying to run back. That tackle drifted high. No card on offer, thankfully. Just a mistake from one of the Boland players, and we go on with 15 against 15.
And it was a decent long 22-meter dropout from Landbou, but it is another penalty conceded. There you see the stat. 3 penalties conceded from Boland Landbou to the solitary one from Oakdale in the 17.5 minutes that have been played. I can barely remember Boland Landbou being in the Oakdale half, apart from that scything run from de Klerk to get their 5-pointer.
Before that throw came into the line out, a short arm was given to Boland. That looks like it was for a dummy throw. Not quite sure about that is Keanu Hendricks. Hooker for Oakdale.
The laws clearly cannot do
Call
that.
for a scrum, Boland. That's a lot of confidence from an Oakdale side, which showed some dominance in the first scrum. It was more balanced at the second. What do you say, Garrett?
And they've been penalised at the last scrum, so interesting call. Decent blindside to work for Mills here. They'll want a quick channel one ball, try and release their number 8, James Stratham, down the blind, because the left wing of Oakdale is set Ray back on the 22.
Dutoy spreading the ball, and this is Jason Aru all the way out to the number 11, Bertus Bart, who is bundled into touch, shifting it all along the field and straight out.
Some good initial movement from Landbou, but criminally the left winger Bart just been thumped over the touchline. He needed to work in field onto the 5-meter line, keep it alive for some strong attack from the outside backs of Landbou.
Absolutely love a quick line out. Keanu Hendricks, not quick in the classical sense of the word, but quickly after the line out is set. Clyde Lewis, intricate move. Ends up in the hands of Trevino Gordon, trying to step his way through defenders. Jooste trying to get it down their back line. Oakdale, Ichenstein is the receiver on this occasion. Barely been put to work yet, the Oakdale backs. Stefan van der Berg, late replacement, carrying it that time. And Pieter Maritz charging it at depth. But Boland have players over the ball. However, not rolling away, and a penalty comes the way of the visitors.
Going to make an attempt to roll.
Well, their discipline is letting them down at the moment, Boland. Just not rolling away. And another opportunity for Oakdale to carve off some territory down this open side touchline. And he's done so quite neatly, has the pivot in JD Stratham. And they want to convert all this pressure and territory into points. Strong run from Maritz. And then the tackler not rolling away. Hence the penalty going the way of Oakdale.
Maritz just one of 13 Craigmore players in the starting lineup, with 2 on the bench for Oakdale. Another steal for Boland, though. They are fighting against the odds right now and coming up trumps. Gordon struggles to handle that. Got very lucky to get it back and away from the potential defender Gavin Mills. Gordon continues. Really stellar work after a difficult start, having mishandled that ball. Gous, the captain, in the back line, setting men away on the outside, but it does not go to hand. Oakdale are not hitting their straps at all as yet.
Well, that's a woeful pass from the captain, Hannes Gous. And the look on his face told a story. He was just as disappointed as Tata was on the outside. His right arm came through, just flung it over the whitewashers. Boland go again.
Not trying to set the rolling maul, setting Henko Smuts away. Smuts puts him on the front foot. Taste kits off within reaching distance of the try line. Boland are right there all of a sudden. What a pass over the top! And RJ van der Merwe scores the second try for Boland in the derby.
What a hammer blow from Boland Lampo, as it's a tighted prop who will be celebrating long into the night. RJ Rian van der Merwe, who's got him for their second. Brilliant work initially from his front ranker partner in Smuts. He ran with purpose, and then the pop over the top to the big man from number 4, Skalk Poseidonhout. Sublime skills from the lock, has found the hands of van der Merwe, and he's in for his try this afternoon. As Boland will go into a healthy 12-0 lead if Mills can bisect the uprights, which he duly obliges. And they've taken their 2 opportunities, have the home side, Boland Lampo, and that man the recipient of some wonderful interpassing between the tight 5. Look at the pass over the top from the captain, Poseidonhout, and then van der Merwe steamrolled in for the second of the afternoon.
Oakdale yet to pitch up to the farm derby. Clyde Lewis with another kick which does not much hanging, very flat. An interesting tactic from Oakdale. It has not worked out on any of the 3 occasions which they've tried it as yet. Busting straight through the initial tackle, I believe that's Lamprecht. Mills, really full of confidence now, Boland. Perhaps too much confidence there as Oakdale turn it over, courtesy of Pierre Raymond Ace. Over the top from Derek Jooster, someone in position. Yes, there is. Bertus Bart makes easy work of that. Tap and go from Bart, he's on the run. Winds up. Oakdale defender Pierre Raymond Ace. Set her up for Boland, right up against the left-hand touchline. Gavin Mills busting tackles and will. Tian du Plessis. Mills. Oakdale are making light work, or rather Boland making light work of Oakdale at this point. Mills goes on his own and he beats 2 before being flattened. Louis Dirk Human. Boland really backing themselves right now. They're just outside the 22-meter line of Oakdale. Mills weighs up his options. Another advantage for Boland. Numbers on the outside here. Dutoy. Those numbers were not put to use, but still breaking tackles so easily. Every time they give it a stab, Boland. This time Oakdale get men over the ball, but we are going back for the penalty advantage. And a 12-point lead may well turn to 15.
A penalty for offside play from Oakdale. Number 4, who has been pointed out, Pierre Race. But Oakdale are missing tackles, and it's at their peril at the moment as they've handed Mills another opportunity to extend this lead. They look somewhat docile to the boys in white. They just haven't arrived in this first half. And again, it is another penalty. Well, he was so far offside, he could have been wearing a black jersey.
So very far offside. Gareth, tell me what's going through the mind of the head coach right now, Tian du Plessis. This side has only lost 2 games this year.
Well, he needs to get a message on to his captain, Hannes Koos. He needs to galvanise his guys, saying, look after the ball, start building the phases. At the moment, we're just giving it away, and hence you're handing opportunity after opportunity for Boland Lampo.
What a strike this time, straight down the centre from Gavin Mills. He extends that lead to 15 points, and Oakdale are floundering. Clyde Lewis, the same kind of kick again, this time even shorter, surely not crossing the 10-meter line. Coach killers everywhere you look from Oakdale. Look at the shoulders slumping. Look at the looks on the faces of these youngsters. They are not playing according to their game plan, surely.
Well, the Oakdale crowd were remonstrating with referee Immelman, but I feel he's got the spot on as Quinton Immelman. The jump before. Oh, well, he's the man with the whistle, and I think he's got that right. But it's yet another error from Oakdale that's allowing Boland to control matters at the moment.
Bind. Set.
Yeah, you're going to have to help me get to the bottom of these kickoffs from Clyde Lewis and what the thoughts are behind them going short the whole time. And Gavin Mills taking it to the blind side now for Boland. Yet another first-time tackle is broken, and it's try scorer Sebastian de Klerk running for Boland on that occasion. That's the second time that the ball has been passed across the face of about 3 or 4 forward players waiting to crash it up into Oakdale opposition. But yet again, Boland have not paid the price for it. Big hit in the midfield, driving Louis Durkheeman back. That's precisely what the lads in white need to try to claim some initiative. Here's Skalk Bezuidenhout, the uncompromising captain of this Boland side, as they continue flowing forward. It is Andrew van der Merwe under the paw.
Well, when it's your day, it's your day. Everything's ticking for the home side. And now those in white are absolutely shell-shocked. There's some brilliant interpassing between the captain, Bezuidenhout, and Sebastian de Klerk yet again, who's been a real standout with his centre mate, Eric Lamprecht. Freed up men on the outside. And good work by Kutsia. And then look at the straight running from de Klerk. Released a flying Andro van der Merwe, and it was shut the stable door as Landbou have now gone into a 22-0 lead. Just quite unaccustomed. Speaking to numerous people before the game, they were worried that Oakdale would run out comfortable win as well. It's been anything but in this derby, as Mills has the extras, and now Boland and Landbou find themselves in the pound seats, leading this derby by 22 to the donut of Oakdale at the moment. Good interpassing. Look at the straight running from the outside centre de Klerk, and then the hard working Andro van der Merwe has got him for try number 3.
Clyde Lewis has got us back underway as this replay plays on your screens. This time it is a deep kick from Clyde Lewis, changing up the tactics somewhat, forcing Boland back into their own half, and the clearance lands them nearby the halfway line. Gareth, what do you think the story was with the short kickoffs they were going for?
Well, they're looking to get their hands on the ball, but their tactical nous at the moment needs to be adjusted. They need to get depth, they need to get height. As we see Landbou decide to go again, Oakdale, that is. And they need to try suffocate Boland in their own half and get the line out, because...
Inside the 5. Okay, fine. Make sure that ball travels 5 meters. Don't throw it on top. You got away with that one now.
Well, just listening to referee Immelman, he's just saying it's got to travel the allotted 5 meters. They've got to try suffocate Boland in their own half of the field from the restarts.
Delayed line out from Keanu Hendricks, just reaching the fingertips of Oakdale, and this time they do knock it back onto their own side. Their set piece has been disrupted by Boland, along with the rest of their game, and they have come nowhere close to scoring points thus far. Hammered in the midfield. Very seldom that we've been able to mention the name of Etienne Steyn, who's the 12 for Oakdale. Clyde Lewis into the line once more. This time hunted down by Bart. Bart dragging him backwards towards his own try line.
You got to release the tackler. You cannot drag the tackler along. You got to release him.
He's playing the man on the ground. Not allowed to drag him once he has put his knee to the deck. Looking for another touch is JD Strydom, and he does find that touch on the 10-meter line of Boland.
Well, the attack is also way too deep at the moment, Oakdale. As we see some strong work coming in from Bart, and then he just didn't release the tackler, dragged him all the way back down to Riversdale. Hence the penalty going the way of the visitors, Oakdale.
Short line out. Oakdale working all sorts in the line out battle today. Clearly they've targeted that as one of Boland's strengths. They do not want to compete. Spreading it as Strydom and Steyn in the midfield. Defense rushing up on him once more. Jooster. This is Janku Klink. Klink gets it away to Gauss. Early tackle. Surely the man was heading towards the ground before he even collected the ball, and Boland capitalized. Turnover. Andrew van der Merwe running back at them. Oakdale players, Oakdale supporters rather, up in arms. Clyde Lewis chasing this one back. It's going to stay in field, and he's going to have to make a decision here. Standing up the defender spectacularly well. And here's Gordon. Plenty of support there for Oakdale. They should be able to control this situation. But Boland to apply themselves with some real vigor.
Stop!
To straight arm. Has to rush the kick. It's launched high onto the 10-meter line of Oakdale. Boland on the attack once more. And it's Javier Snyman charging forward.
Back!
Numbers out to the left here. Will Boland score again? Lamprecht back inside to Frenner, to Toy. It's all Boland on this derby day. What a celebration out here in Achterberg.
Well, it's a black tidal wave that is washing over Oakdale at the moment, and at this time it's a talisman in the number 10 jersey, Frenner de Toy, who's got in for try number 4. A better first half of rugby you won't see anywhere in schoolboy games this year. Interpassing sublime. It's that man again, Eric Lamprecht, involved, and the number 10 Frenner de Toy has got in for the 4th of the afternoon. Brilliant work by Boland. Their handling and running off the ball has been something to behold, and hence they find themselves 27 points to the good. Gavin Mills has controlled this fixture like a seasoned veteran in the number 9 jersey, and if he can slice the uprights now with this conversion going into half-time, you wouldn't want to be in the shoes of Manan du Plessis, the Oakdale coach.
Sliding away at the last second, really has started striking them clean as this half is worn on. Gavin Mills, but the scoreline remains 27 points to 0.
From a missed touch kick again. Look at the strong work by Lamprecht, interpassing, simply outstanding, and he found a worthy recipient in de Toy, who's crashed in for his try.
Really have changed the tactic at kickoff for the last two. Clyde Lewis launching that one straight down the pitch, and that touch is spectacular from Boland. Quick line out cannot be taken, and Oakdale are stuck in their own half. This is a nightmare for Oakdale. If you didn't know, you would say they're the far weaker team coming into this match. They're getting blown off the park.
And that man, Gavin Mills, has been brilliant this afternoon for the home side. The flat restart with the wind at his back. He's carved off 50 meters, and Oakdale find themselves back in their own half.
Pierre-Raymond Ace rising high to receive that one for Oakdale. They try to set a rolling maul just outside their own 22-meter line, which is very slow in advancing. All those Boland players coming in from an onside position. No advantage at all. Penalty comes the way of Oakdale.
And interestingly enough, you saw the territory stat 50-50, but possession has swung heavily in favor of the Bolanders. 59% in this first half. Now Oakdale will want to get something on the board before half-time. They need a good kick from their fly-off in Stratham, and he's found a neat touch just the other side of the Boland 10-meter line.
4 converted tries stand between these two sides before the half-time whistle is blown. That cannot be the case heading into the break for Oakdale if they want to come back into this one. Interesting step there. All the lineouts to Oakdale shows how much they've been attacking. Up again at the front is Pierre-Raymond Ace. These lineouts are looking far better since they've slowed them down and started using some deception to get those Boland jumpers working. Just beyond the 10-meter line of Boland with a deep back line, Oakdale begin to attack. An attack which really must work out for them if they have any machinations of making a contest in this match. And that has been knocked on from the fingertips of Clyde Lewis, one of their star players. And these 13 Craven Week starting players of Oakdale cannot find a way to string together any meaningful phases. Boland, on the other hand, continue to dominate past the 35-minute mark now. They could kick it into touch and make sure that the clock was counting down on Oakdale, but they clearly backed themselves to score again. Mills is very measured with how often he breaks, and he uses them very well, always catching Oakdale on the back foot. Good break there from Louis Dirk Human. Crossing the gain line for Boland, who use their back line now. Sebastian de Klerk running in. Charging onto the ball, the hands of Boland, the accuracy, the efficiency, the passion. It has been a pleasure to behold here in the opening 35 minutes of this farm derby. These two schools going at it for the 31st time since 1987. Spreading it again was Gavin Mills. He found Arya van der Merwe hacking it upfield. Surely he had to bend down and pick that ball up to be safe and secure, then diving in on the player. It is all suicidal rugby that from Joaquin Salter.
I know he ducked into the tackle, it's a high tackle, that's the last play. So I didn't take it out, but it's a thing at half time. Okay.
Well, they want to continue the momentum, do Boland Lampo. They need to try keep it going with the line out, and Mills has decided to pursue that option, and it's a line out which will be the final play of the half, just outside that Oakdale 22-meter area.
Wonder if that call is coming from the coach. In a comfortable position right now, Boland. They've decided to keep coming at Oakdale. Wrapping around the back, Javier Snyman, who's been very impactful today for Boland. Henko Smuts carrying Boland beyond the 22-meter line. The relentless advance of the boys in black jerseys continues. Frana du Toit, this time Tean du Plessis approaching the 5-meter line. They continue advancing. Mills out the back of the hand. This is out of this world rugby. This is Premier Interschools at its very best. Tries, and more tries for the home side.
Well, it's Sebastian de Klerk who's gone in for the double. They rolled the dice, did Landbou. Decided to go with the option of the line out. And from that ensuing play just outside the 22, Mills with another telling break. The sunny ball out the back of the hand, and who else but Sebastian de Klerk was on hand for his brace this afternoon. Would you believe it? This first half has been outstanding from the home side. 32 plays 0 as Gavin Mills has the conversion to come to take it to 34. And hasn't he been instrumental in the number 9 jersey, this young fellow Mills? It was his initial break, the flick out the back of the hand, found de Klerk, and he's in for number 2. Well, the conversion is away to the right, but that's no worries for Boland Lampo, as they've simply packed away Oakdale in this opening half of this Premier Interschools clash, and they lead Oakdale by 32 points to 0. Five tries to 0 here at the Place in Wellington. It is Boland Lampo who are 32 points to the good at halftime.